Hello, my name's Peter Watkins, and I just want to talk a little bit about how you can go about helping your learners with the task of learning vocabulary. Learning vocabulary is obviously an important part of language learning and something valued and prized by most language learners because they see the immediate benefit that learning new words and phrases can have on their ability to use English effectively. We know that one thing that aids memory and helps learners to learn is to recycle vocabulary, to make sure that learners see the same words over and over through a period of time. And so some very easy techniques you can use to do that, and I'm going to share one of them with you today, which is to use a word bag. Now, a word bag is a very simple device for ensuring that the vocabulary you teach actually gets recycled and helps, therefore, students to remember it. A word bag is very, very simple to create. In fact, what I'll do to show you just how easy it is to create is to do it now for you. So we'll take here an envelope. It's a very normal standard envelope, and all you have to do is write on it the words word bag, and there you are. You have just created a word bag. Now what you do after creating your word bag is, in lessons, you need little slips of paper such as this one. You need a few slips of paper, and what you do is when you teach a new word or phrase, or at the end of the lesson, for example, you sit down and you think, well, what were the new words, what were the new phrases, and you write them on the slip of paper and you put them into your word bag. And this means that you have a collection of the vocabulary, the words and phrases that you've taught. Okay, great. So far what we've got is an envelope, a bag full of words and phrases. It will take a few lessons to build up a bank of material in there. Then what do you do with that? Well, there are several things you can do. You can start a lesson. Those moments that you begin a lesson and maybe not everybody's there yet, or you just want to ease into the lesson, one thing you could do is ask the learners to guess the words that you included in the word bag from the previous lesson. So that immediately means they've got to think back to the previous lesson, think back to the vocabulary that was presented and covered, and try to guess which ones you chose to put in the word bag. That would be one thing you could do. You could, when you've built up a bank of words, you could give groups of learners, maybe groups of 4 or 5 students, you could give them 4 or 5 words from the word bank, each group, and ask them to put those words and phrases in some little narratives. They create a story using that particular vocabulary. Another nice student-centered thing to do is to each day, each lesson, nominate a student whose task it is to choose the words that go in the word bag. Okay, so rather than you choose the words, the student, a student in the class chooses the words, and again you can begin the next lesson by the class asking that student which words were included, or trying to guess the words that were included. Another activity you can use is to go through the word bag and take out, let's say, for example, some nouns. Okay, you take out some nouns from the word bag, and from those nouns you elicit from the students words that collocate with that noun. So you may start by eliciting some verbs that collocate with the noun. So let's say that you pick out from your word bag the word operation, okay, operation, and then you try to elicit verbs that can collocate with the noun operation. So undergo an operation, perform an operation, and so on. You could equally do it with adjectives and nouns, for example, or any other combination of words. You could also, as another activity, put students into pairs, so they work in pairs for this activity, and you give each individual 3 or 4 words from the word bag. So each student has 3 or 4 words. They don't show the words to their partner, they keep the words to themselves, but they have to try to elicit the word from their partner, so make their partner say the word. They can use that, they can do that through using synonyms and antonyms, or putting it into a sentence, leaving a blank for the word they're trying to elicit, and so on. So there are various sort of elicitation techniques they could use. So there are all kinds of things that you can do once you have created a word bag like this. All ways in which you can just spend 5 or 6 minutes of a lesson, either at the beginning, at the end. Use that time usefully and productively to recycle vocabulary, and that will help learners to learn vocabulary, and they can be very enjoyable, fun activities that you can do with your students. So if you want to experiment with any of those, let me know how you get on with them. Okay, I'll speak to you soon.